Okay, I'm just gonna have to make the video go for it because I don't know how you would necessarily plan out what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to show. So I just have to say it, and hopefully it's easy to understand. Okay, so I have a problem with over explaining things sometimes, and I can confuse people when I had a simple point, and then I'll lose it because I overcomplicated it by trying to give too many supporting details for what I'm trying to say. But I think it's important to support what you say. You can't just say shit and then this is true, and have it don't need to at least offer a little bit of supporting evidence for it. And so anyway, with the Morgellons and the white hair epidemic, as I call it, that seemed to kick in around 2010 or 2012. And my own issues with Morgellons and what we would call normal signs of aging, like bone, bone issues, calcium deposits. They say I had my hair on my face wouldn't grow evenly. It was getting patchy and having really coarse white hairs that would just grow at the wrong angles, going the wrong direction, kind of, and then there'd be areas that were really black hair, more darker than it should be, but super fine, like smaller than the tiniest little needle of a hair coming out. And then if I didn't shave regularly, it was really uncomfortable. I think that's why so many people shave so often. They don't even realize it, but it's not part. So I'm looking, right, and it's easy to see there's patches, there's different colors, and it's not just the hair. That patch is visible in the same area. It's in the skin. If I were to shave, it would look like the skin color surface, and that wouldn't be noticeable, really. But not shaving, at first you might think, oh, well, that's a difference in the way the colors of the hair or the texture of the hair is. It is a little, but that is a result of what's under the skin, I believe, which is really what's causing this white area and the black areas. And the black tends to follow the bone. It's like my jaw is right here, and it does this nice little arch right around it all the time. Toxins, your body's trying to push the toxins to the outside, and perhaps this is just an idea that I just came on the other day, so I don't maybe not have. Well, there's lots of supporting evidence for it. I wouldn't have the idea if there wasn't. The biofield, your human biofield, you have torus field running your spine and in, presumably, to the top of your head and out the bottom, and it circulates energy around. And everybody has one. So what kind of energy is it? We can't just take a meter and go up, or can we? Because I have a test meter, a fluke meter, and it tests all kinds of different energies, as you get closer or farther away from a person. It changes just by holding the leads in the air. You don't even really have to have anything hooked to them. You can just watch the meter, But anyway, that's another story too. So, where was I? Okay. So, the stuff under the skin is the toxins. The biofield is the energy. The energy is, of our immune system. Our immune system tries to push these toxic things out of us, and they're metals. And if our biofield energy, whatever, our torus field energy, is polarized, because it's polarized, or that's why it goes in a circuit, it gets to flow, or however that works. Anyway, if it's polarized as it goes through, then in the real world, the physical world, the opposite charges will be attracted to that, and the same charges will be repelled by that same energy, because that energy isn't just in some energetic, level where, the physical plane, as they say, the physical plane and the spiritual plane and the mental plane and emotional plane, whatever all those planes are, they are all the same plane. And it's just, frequency of the energies that determines how you interact with them. all those other planes are happening in you, around you, and the ones you're part of are happening at the same time within you. It's not some other plane where you can get out your binoculars and look across oh, hey, there's that other plane of existence. I see it. And, oh, that's me. Here I am. It's in you at all the time, but accessing your intuition of it, your feelings about, your other planes of existence isn't something that's easy to talk about or easy to, understand. It's not in the instruction manual. I lost mine right after being born, so, but some things are pretty easy to figure out. The golden rule is pretty easy to figure out. I don't think babies come out, wanting to go beat people up and take their stuff, and so, that's a trained behavior and a learned behavior. Anyway, so, point. The patches are all over, right? And they're all different places, and if this is the toxic buildup, the whiteness of the white metals, as your immune system's trying to push them out of you, then our skin gets filled with them. There's a lot of skin issues. One of the things with the Morgellons that I'm feeling right now was always at the corner of my eyebrows. Well, years ago they were quite swollen, and there still are some, but if you look in the mirror and the corner of your eyebrow and then the side of your head area right here seems swollen a little bit, it's because it's filled with possibly parasites, but at least toxic metals. And we're learning that parasites love toxic metals. I heard even somewhere that the parasites eat toxic metals and shit gold. And they're collecting our poop in order to get the gold out of it. I shit you not, but I'm not sure about that. That's interesting. But I would go out so far as to say that the swelling at my eyebrows, the things from my Morgellons videos, there's enough there. I mean, I've got more of them, but I don't figure I need to upload, zillions of them. But the swelling is, related to the intentional poisoning. I mean, let's face it, duh. Look outside, on any given day and figure out why people are sick right now. And if you look online or you listen to medical sources, they have a bazillion things it is. They have, every video on YouTube saying it's something different. It's this, it's that. You didn't get enough magnesium. You're whatever. And it's coming back to what I was thinking all along, which is when I learned that no microbial bacterial germ can live on copper, and I noticed it in real life because I had copper things. I just messed with copper my whole life, kind of, and thought it was interesting in the way it patinaed. That patina is the process that makes it, kill off these microbials. I mean, that's it releasing those extra free electrons, if you want to think of it that way. I'm not exactly sure about all the electronic theory, but I learned the electron theory, and so as a way of understanding what's happening with the thing I'm dealing with, it fits for this model. Copper has excess free electrons. That's why it's such a good conductor. I'm just quoting what they say. I'm not saying this is a fact. But this is how you can think about it. You can draw up circuits and they work using this. So there you go. The free electrons, if they are, unbound in pairs in the copper itself, and you get pure copper, when you contact it, those electrons are free to leave, and it deteriorates the copper, and it really does. I made copper insoles for my shoes, and it made half, if not 3/4 of any feet issues I'm having go away, within a month. No smells, and my feet didn't smell anymore. I was like, wow, that's amazing. They dissolved over time, though. They started to poke me. I had to make new ones, and then I don't even have them anymore. But it made a huge difference. Okay, I'm losing my point again. Copper, and we're deficient in copper. Copper offsets the iron, and then there's a whole immune system response to that, which I'm not an expert on, and I'm not going to try and go into. My point being is I found ways to deal with the toxic metals that if our biofield energy were part of our immune system and it was electromagnetically pushing these things away from our core, which is where our spine is, spine, core, your head, and I believe that the silver cord that's talked about is it's invisible to us. We don't see generally. Maybe some people do. But the spiral of the hair on your head, the spiral of the growth of everything in your body down your spine and out your bottom is the energy pathway of this silver cord of energy. And the silver cord of energy, it's probably bendable, flexible, it doesn't break. But, we don't see it. We can't just look up, oh, there's my silver cord, or I'm going to pull myself up by, something. It's energy. It's in a different frequency, not a different plane of existence, but a different frequency on this one and only plane that contains all of the other planes. It's the only plane of existence. That's the physical one. But that we experience when we're physical. When we're non-physical, I think we kind of gel into the rest of it, so I'm getting way out there now. Point being, these toxic metals are real. Our immune system's trying to push them out. I think I've supported it enough already so I can just say these things, so, nothing I say is a fact necessarily, and this is not medical advice. I'm just, to me, that energy field is the same as the one we're using for our electrical devices and all that. That's why, if you're sensitive enough, sensitive people can go near transformers or generators or a running idling train or anything like that and feel the electric field or the magnetic field. I don't know which one it is, but I can feel it, even if there's not something that a sound or whatever that's associated with it. I can sense them, but it's not like I can sense being close to cell towers too. A lot of people can. The metals are in us, in reality. This is the white to me. The patches where the hair stopped growing correctly and the strange discolorations and problems were the calcium deposits, right? Yeah, the calcium, the perfectly normal calcium deposits that you get because you're getting old, and see, that's what happens, and it's just normal. Oh, like having white hair, like having arthritis, which is what? Linked to aluminum in the joints. Hello, 70, 80, 90 years ago? I don't know. A long fucking time ago. So is the link with aluminum and Alzheimer's, autism, arthritis, being an asshole. They're all, associated to aluminum. And you look around and then, anybody over the age of 35 nowadays has got some white and silver hair. If not, they're turning, pure white and silver hair. And then you see these old guys walking around with just pure white hair. Now, I can't say that everybody with pure white hair is completely loaded with poisons, because some of them seem very healthy, and so I'm not quite sure. I think some people do have white hair. But to me, that's metal with my issues. So, and it's right on the surface of the skin. It's flammable material. It's being pushed out of my pores. It's being grown out through the hairs, and that's why they're turning white and silver. It's not that the pigment cells are no longer working, because just time went by, you got old, your pigment cells stopped working, and now you have white, silver, gray hair. And if you, take too many medications, you have blue hair. Yeah. Anyway, do you see I'm saying that those are not normal. That's not just normal signs of aging. None of it. The arthritis especially. Oh yeah, you're just getting old, you see, and that's what happens because time went by. Aging is directly the buildup of these toxins in your physical body. And that's it. If that wasn't happening, we would grow to our adulthood and basically stay that way indefinitely. The reason we're poisoned so hard, I believe, in this place we live, is that whoever's in charge, up at the highest levels, pulling the strings, for world events and affairs and laws and rules and bylaws and organizations and secret societies. Those people don't want us living long. You don't want your slaves to live a long time and figure out that they're slaves. And they don't want us knowing very much. And the way they do that is to poison us in the physical plane, because it's the one they have good access to. If they're in power and, you can do things in secret here, and other people don't know, and other, the AI knows because we got these cameras everywhere, but, it's trying to be God. That's another story. Anyway, okay, I'm just going to, okay. I got my hydrogen going. Sorry about the extra noise there, but that's it. This is real toxins. It's in the skin. It's in the body. And this is my this is my morning, afternoon, evening, and night routine. This is my early morning routine and my after I get done driving somewhere routine to release the tension that I can feel through my body, through my nervous system. I feel this, like a tension, like just a muscle that's tensed. And there's little strands that are worse than other areas that run through it, and it's just like, it's distracting. It makes it difficult to concentrate on things when something feels off, right? But what do you do about it? People just take a pill. Oh, no way now. But they're not understanding what it might be that's causing the tension. Maybe it's not a chemical imbalance or something in you. Maybe it's literally an electromechanical action happening in your body as a result of the varying metals in your body making battery circuits through your body and your plasma as the conductive fluid. Maybe it's the wireless interacting with the tiny antennas that each of these pieces of metal that we breathe in are by the billions. We have billions of tuned antennas inside our bodies, and we're immersed in a field of energy that probably has those frequencies that correspond with the wavelengths of those tiny little metals connected to a computer, say, and interacting with the particles in our body, say, so it's able to send and receive electrical information into your body and back out. And because of your physical size and shape of your body, you are an antenna yourself, the human antenna, they say. You are. The shape and size and density of your body, your bones, everything that's contained within your vessel, your resonant vessel, is an antenna. And with all the metal particles in it tuned, if you can follow what I'm saying here, that is a very specific antenna. The computers are easily able to decipher the information coming from our senses. We are the sensor. Our body itself has become the sensor that senses the information to be collected by the AI computers or whatever, is at the root of all the electrical systems. And it needs to be removed. The tension going through my body, I'm saying, is that signal. It is the energy between the metals, and it is the interaction of the wireless systems, the directed energy weapons systems being used on us. Yes, it makes you sick. Yes, it will kill you eventually. But no, it's not an instant death thing. It's more about being able to take control of people's physical body if necessary, but at least their thoughts and their tendencies in their mind, and directing or controlling it. Some people can be, I think everybody who lives in the modern world now is completely in it. You can't not be in it. You're forced into it. And the evacuations of the nation are just adding to it. So you can't not be in it. So this isn't a video of for some fringe little group of Morgellons people that have this imaginary condition. You're power of my imagination. I can imagine my freaking self until I bleed. Wow. That's not what it's for. This is everybody. Everybody has that problem. But not everybody knows what to do with it. I may be the only one who does this. I've been looking and trying to find it, and I did see a clip somebody showed me once where they had a lighter and he was getting the side of his head. I'm like, holy shit. That's the first time I'd ever seen that anywhere else, right? But, this is to address the whiteness. The whiteness is the toxic metal or the parasitic fungus that's associated with it, because there's not only the electronics aspect There's the parasitic aspect. I don't have the ability to do a whole lot on, but the electrical theory is something that I can use in my INTP brain and just let it stew on things for long periods of time, and I've done that. I put in, before. Anyway, I can, the back of my mind has this ability to like chew on logic problems without me consciously thinking about it. I put enough of points of interest in about something, and then it will just look for connections, and it'll get back to me in a week or something. It's strange, but anyway. So, yeah. So this is what I gotta do. This is my morning routine, afternoon, evening, right? Because this stuff never stops. But in doing this, the hair on my faces began to grow normal and even again. The weird, super coarse, chunky, hairs that grow in the wrong directions, they seem to have subsided. The tension that I was talking about, the electromechanical tension running through my skin and my muscles, basically, it's dissipated. And I have discovered that fire, like from a candle, plasma, it dissipates static electricity. If there's static electric cling on something, you can stick a balloon to it, but not a balloon though, because a balloon would pop if you put fire to it. But like a sock, if you had a sock and it's stuck to a blanket, you pulled out of the dryer. If you go over with a lighter and you light it right next to the sock, the static electricity and the little fuzziness maybe added to it, but it will spark a little bit, and the cling will disappear and the sock will fall off because the heat dissipates the static, the electrical charge. And I believe that this has something to do with that. I think the metals hold static charge in the skin, and that's part of the reason that they're intentionally made to do this. Like, this is a sensation of the effect of what that's doing. All the metals. I mean, we are loaded with metals. Nobody can argue with that, unless they're a dipshit, unless they live in total denial of reality. But I turned up a little. So we're loaded to the gills with metals, and the gills literally right here is a big area. The side of my neck, the back of my neck, around the back of my jaw. Like, it made me think about wisdom teeth, right? Because they're right back there. Most people get them pulled. I don't think I've had mine pulled, but why do they call them wisdom teeth? Why are they back there? And why does this seem to be like one of the highest concentration areas of toxicity I can feel? I mean, it's right in the side of my neck. It's to basically the medulla oblongata, and it's like that's like all around up into my chin. But the stuff really, it's everywhere though. It's definitely everywhere, like everywhere. Especially under the arms where there's glands. Wherever you get lymphs or, larger glands are, well, they're loaded with the metals. We're breathing it, hello, all day and night, every day and night. And people go to their doctor saying, Doc, I don't feel good. And he gives them more metal toxins in pill form or injections to put into their body to alleviate the problem of having too many toxic metals and things in your body. Because why? Because people are just that dumb. They have no clue about how to decipher the things they're sensing in their own body. They have to go to somebody else and ask them what they feel. Doc, tell me what I'm feeling. Something's not right. Oh, gee, give me your blood. They always want your blood. Doesn't matter what they're going to do. Doc, I stubbed my toe. Well, better get a blood sample. What? You're the optometrist. You better get a blood sample. We can't know anything unless we stick a needle in you, withdraw some of your blood, and put it in our file. Anyway, okay, so this is my routine. Yeah, I got to do this several times a day. Right now, I'm kind of pushed into having to do it instead of going out and working on some shit right now, because my right arm is going numb and doing like a whole Raynaud's thing, except it's not just my fingers, it's the wrist, the elbow, the weird lump on the bottom there that's probably some tracking device, I don't know. To go with the one that's on this finger, right on my right index finger on the inside, there's this lump there I noticed sometimes. Is that a tumor, or is that a tracking device they stuck in me when, in one of those 8.5 years I spent in jail when they, maybe tranked the whole pod and did experiments? I don't know. Everything is on the table. I do know, I'm so close couldn't see, I do know that this reduces the tension, the headaches related to Morgellons, the just everything, overall tension too, mental tension is directly associated with this. And I believe if this is the toxic metal / parasitic fungus hybrid, that's being grown on my skin, and I'm vaporizing it off of my skin surface, then that could explain what the smoke is, why it just continues to go and go and go, because I could do this for, literally, it could go just for an hour. I have done it for an hour more, 2 hours sometimes, and it will just continually. Never once have I been burned. I've never been burned. My reflexes, and you have to have some okay motor skills and work, get used to this sort of thing. I couldn't do this when I first discovered this, and it took years before I even thought that this would work. I didn't just one day, oh, I know what to do. No, it took years of being tortured by Morgellons, bleeding fucking eyebrows and fucking earlobes and the whole 9 yards of weird fucking shit that goes along with Morgellons. And this is one of the keys to keeping it at bay that's allowed me to be able to go out in public, that makes it possible for me to work on anything. I mean, I had to close my motorcycle shop because I couldn't function anymore, because the ringing in my ears, the nonstop headache, the tension through everything all the time, my hands, in my nose, from the tip of my nose, my ears, my fingers, my hands, the Raynaud's will just sink in completely. Like, numbness and burning and tingling. And I'm feeling that right now because I've been using this arm here so long. It's starting to Raynaud's right now. Right? Yeah, anyway. So when I, like on this side, I feel the tingling, and it starts where the lump is, and it kind of radiates out until my hand hurts, and it's doing Raynaud's, and my arm just starts to feel weak. My shoulder feels weak, and I feel a tension, like in my armpit, right in the pit of it, right at the ball of my shoulder socket or whatever. And it corresponds with, if I do this there, at that time, the tingling in my hands begins to go away. The circulation returns, and the Raynaud's drops off. God, I probably sound like I'm being fucking told, trying to sound a little smart-assed or something. I'm not trying to sound smart-ass. I just get worked up about it because it's my life. It's this is the problem that's, stopped the things that I was trying to do. I wouldn't say the things I wanted to do. Nobody in the world does what they want to do. They do what's possible for them, what's available to them to do, and then there's an equation made into that, and that's what we do. But nobody does what they want. They do what they can and what they decide to do, but that's not the same as doing what you want. Anyway, I was fairly successful at my motorcycle shop, and things were improving for, a couple years. And then the spray down began from Kimberly T and the rails. And within 5 years, I was non-functional and had to sell everything and move out of the shop and become homeless. And I've been in ever since, really. But, luckily, say God has been, supporting me, really, through other people and things, and I just do the best I can, and I'm very thankful for that I have people that care about me and have helped me a lot, 'cause a lot of people don't fucking have that. And that's why there's, the massive homeless, and they just don't, give a fuck anymore, and people, hold them accountable for it, and you have to be held accountable for the way you act in this world. But if, John Q. Public, who hasn't quite experienced this issue yet, or hasn't gone to the doctor and got so medicated that they just don't give a fuck about anything, and thinks, looks down their nose at these people, not realizing that, you just wake up one day and say, I'm going to become homeless, go live in the bushes, and, throw my trash outside my tent and frickin' do blues all day. Because that sounds like a good future, when you're 20 years old. That's not how it works. There is nothing going on. The economy's being imploded. The society's being imploded. The health of everyone is being destroyed. And anybody who goes into their professionals for help for this is just diluted even more, given something that makes them feel better while they slowly die, and never told that there's any other option. And people just go along with it. It's insanity. I don't understand. There's a lot of lymph nodes along your collarbone too, which just so happens to be one of the places where it's just most noticeable. And you get this strange sizzling, crackling sounds. And yeah, my arm's starting to go to sleep again. From the Raynauds, the perfectly normal Raynauds that, our doctors tell us about, because they figured it out in 1871. Dr. Raynaud's, oh yeah, here it is, look at this way, and their fingers are turning white. Yep, it's an autoimmune disease. Oh, it's autoimmune. Well, they didn't have that term then, but that's what they decided to call it. Yes, the automatic immune disease, the disease of your immune system, and it's automatic, all by itself. Oh yeah, my body thinks I'm dying, and I'm in a hypothermic condition. I'm being frozen to death, and so it's going to shut off the circulation to my extremities through the lump on the back of my arm and the nump in my finger that I feel a tension between the two of, as it feels like my nervous system is being pulled tight like a cord until it doesn't work anymore, and I lose functionality in my hand, in my arm, in my shoulder. Because that's what it does. And this alleviates it. I've been holding it there for a while, Obviously, you see I'm not on there. The heat from a hydrogen flame comes out like a pinpoint. And it's moist. At the very end, it's a slightly bit moist, but it's really hot. Hydrogen, for some reason, doesn't burn the skin because of the moisture contents, I guess, It has an affinity for metals, and for things, with no moisture in them. But we got a little bit of water in it, and it takes it easy on it. Which, I was real nervous about using the hydrogen torch at first, but I'm starting to get used to it, and it works better than propane for sure. And a candle can do certain things that this can't, though. I use this I can get as close to my eyebrow even, where am I here? I got to get my distance gauged, and then I just go like that. It's very precise. And these areas I was talking about, the side of the head, you see people got the vein, looks like there's a swollen side of their head, and they got this swirly snake vein going down all the way to the corner of their eye, right? That swirly snake might just be a swirly snake. If some sort of creature that's body was a long tentacle swirly tendril, or it had long tentacle swirly tendrils, and it could live, say in the plasma under your skin that's highly infected and filled with, nanoparticle metals, causing your immune system to not be able to function properly there, making it a perfect place for parasites to live. They have everything they want to eat right there, and a place to be, and it's nice and warm, and you keep it that way for them. Thanks, docs. Hey, give my parasites some food. I heard they were hungry. You think our medical establishment hasn't discovered any of the things I'm talking about yet? They don't know. They just didn't figure it out. I'm a super genius, and I figured it out, but they couldn't figure it out. Is that what I'm saying? No, that's not what I'm saying. They know full well everything that I've said. They know. They don't say, you know. And I'm not saying, when I say they, I don't mean every doctor knows. No, doctors are, you don't have to be smart to be a doctor. You have to be able to memorize things and follow orders and never ask questions. It's a military situation. It's just like the military. You go out in the military and you become a private or whatever, and you go, and they send you on a job, and you start, well, why do we got to do this, Sergeant? And how come this is over here? And I want to do it this way, and see what that gets you. Get your ass kicked. You have to obey, or you're out. Or you're punished until you obey, or you're out. I mean, that's just how it works. That's the military aspect. The medical system's the same way. You go do this, this, and this, and you say this, and they answer this, and you fill out this form, and that's all you do. You do anything else, and you're out. And you still owe us the money that you spent trying to get here. Being in the medical's worse than in the Army. At least in the Army, they can boot you out and not give you anything, and, well, you're asked out. But if you become a doctor, you paid to get there, and if they boot you out, you still owe them. So, how's that for fucking a wartime fucking thing, huh? The great militarization of everything in the world. So hopefully I made some sense in this video and explained what the background is of how I came to these conclusions of this working and this being a thing and why I believe that it works. A little warm. But I figure somebody needs to hear this. There's somebody out there who knows damn good and well, like I do, that our authorities in the United States and Western Europe, at least, are absolute frauds. And yes, they've spent years and billions and trillions of dollars with the smartest people they could recruit out of all the schools in the world to make a super complicated science of health and electrical engineering and you name it, anything like that. All the sciences. Only so that they could be the ultimate authority on them and then steer everybody wrong, because you couldn't do that unless you were the ultimate authority. So, do you see how that works? The authority figure is the only one that can be compromised in that way, and they are. Our authorities are absolute frauds. It doesn't mean that everything they say is untrue. It means what they say is specifically tailored with things that are true and things that are untrue to make it so that you believe what they're saying and you can't understand the parts where they're lying. And they keep it that way. And that's how they keep us all in this state of suspended animation. Just, here we are. What are we doing? Right? When you're so poisoned you can't function anymore, you get a time to think about these things. And, I've never been one who would go to a doctor, and I don't like pills. So, it's some total horseshit what's going on. Our authority figures are a fraud. So this video isn't about this, as much as it's about what leads to this, I guess I'd say. I should probably just shut up now. I've been fucking going on. I'm on 38 fucking minutes. 38:30. Okay, that's it. Take care. I hope this made sense. Thanks for watching.